Hello and welcome to another episode of Crownsman Energy. I am your host, Chad Carrier. Coming up on today's show, we have a great guest. We've got Dr. Steve Leung from SensorUp. He is the founder and chief technology officer of the company. Dr. Steve Leung, thank you so much for joining Crownsman Energy and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm really looking forward to today's discussion and topic of conversation because there's a lot really to unpack here. But before we do that, let's essentially tee it up in terms of SensorUp and what your company does in terms of compiling, organizing, and simplifying data from a variety of connected devices to really cut through the clutter and deliver meaningful, efficiencies for data-driven companies. So before we jump into that, SensorUp says it's interconnecting the world's IoT data. Can you just explain what is IoT data and what is the Internet of Things?
Of course. So what the Internet of Things, right? It has two words, Internet and Things. So actually, this is the premise is about this. In the near future, or even now, the physical things, so just imagine, look at the things around you, okay? There will be sensors embedded in these physical objects. And then they will have communication capabilities and collect data about the physical world. So basically, it provides the potential to give you the unprecedented visibility because you can collect whatever data in the physical world. And these devices is able to communicate with each other and then share data, even work together. That's the potential of Internet of Things.
That's
And it's
sorry,
scary.
go
I
ahead.
know. It is scary. It's creepy. Yeah. But actually, I just want to let you know, for example, a typical, this Internet of Things right now, today, it's already happening, right? So one thing is about, for example, at your home, smart homes. It's one example, a vertical of an Internet of Things, right? Smart homes. But for example, we, SensorUp, for example, we work with industrial companies. Sensors are not new to them. They already have a lot of sensors, right? For example, work with a trucking company. They have 7 different SIM cards on one truck. So it's already happened. So the truck is a thing. It has 7 different communication devices, right? With 7 different kind of sensor systems on one truck. And then we talk to the IT innovation person at the company. It's like, okay, my goal this year is to reduce from 7 into 3. So sometimes, although it could sound very futuristic, but sometimes it's already there, right? For example, in military, sensors are not new. They have drones, they have ground sensors, they have all kinds of sensors for all kinds of platforms, right? So their problem is not about not enough sensors. Their problem might be too many sensors. Yeah, but so I think what I want to say is Internet of Things is here, and it's just in your environment.
Well, and like you said, it's all around you, whether you even know it or not, correct?
Exactly.
So speaking of SensorUp in particular, then your company has a statement: visualize, predict, and innovate. Can you walk us through the SensorUp platform and what it entails with respect to the Internet of Things?
Yeah. So actually, like I said, right? So Internet of Things is here, right? And a lot of organizations like military, like industrial operations, visibility is very important for them because every second counts. Yeah, every second counts. And safety is very important. And then they don't want to wait. They don't want to waste. As a result, they put sensors, right? Why do you need sensors? Because you want to know these data, right, about the physical world, right? The weight, the waste, and safety. However, the problem they have today is they have too many sensor networks. So as a result, they spend a lot of money, but they still do not have the visibility. Okay, and why do they want visibility? Because they want prediction. Look at what's going on. They call in military terms, it's called situational awareness or common operating picture, so that you can start to, it's difficult to operate in a fog of war, right? Foggy, you just cannot operate. So they put a lot of sensors, but it's still in a fog. So as a result, they cannot predict what's going to happen. So they cannot really compete with their competitors because whoever has better prediction can compete. And as a result, they cannot trigger the actions, or we call it operational execution, to respond, right? According to the real-time visibility and predictions. There's where we come in. So we are a cloud-based platform. We are a digital nervous system. Interconnect all these different sensors together into one coherent system of systems. It's not one system, it's a system of systems with international standard, and we offer several international standards. So put them all together so that the number one thing they can have is the unprecedented visibility from multiple sensors. Instead of staring at 21, 10 different screens, or like for a truck, right? 7 different screens for one truck, right? And imagine you have more than a truck, right? You have truck, you have one F-150, you have hydrovac, and you have all kinds of machines, right? You have a lone worker system. So you are thinking about 10s, 20, 30 different kinds of systems. Would put them all together. And then we have this infrastructure to run the prediction models. A lot of them are AI. But very importantly is operational execution. So we learned that through the time we work with military and the Department of Homeland Security is, for example, you're a firefighter. You put there's a fire, right? You put a whole bunch of sensors to know where's a fire, where are people. So what? You want to save people's life. You want to save the precious assets. So operational execution is very important. So we have this mobile app, connected worker app, smart watches, phones, or in some cases more like wearables, right? So really trigger actions so that the people can go in and then to follow procedure. We empower these field workers, say it's a first responders or a industrial field workers, so they can trigger actions. They can perform operations to either save lives or stop the waste, or in some cases stop the leaking.
It's time to give a shout out to our sponsors. First up, we have Total Combustion. If you're in the oil and gas industry, you know that the regulations to deal with waste gas are always changing and becoming more stringent. Not all companies can afford to go net zero. Because all waste gas is not pipeline quality, combustion is a viable solution. That is where Total Combustion In comes in, with the most reliable combustion solutions on the market. Need to buy or rent waste gas combustion equipment? Need to eliminate unscheduled downtime and lower your operation costs? Call Total Combustion at 403-309-7731 or email them at sales@tciburners.com to learn more. Next up, we have Edge Eyewear. Edge designs stylish, quality, and affordable safety eyewear that's as fit for the weekend as the workday. Edge safety glasses and sunglasses are ANSI or CSA compliant, come ready with modern technology, and are comfortable enough to offer all-day protection. And they've been delivering a better safety glass since 1998. Visit edgeeyewear.com to learn more and save 20% with the code CROWN20. Next up, we have SolarSet. SolarSet has launched pre-assembled ground-mounted solar systems, including the innovative SolarSet Fold. Their solar systems will power your residential and commercial property and will ship worldwide. Talk to their team to learn if a grid tie or off-grid with battery backup solar system is right for your application. Visit solarset.com to learn more. Next up, we have OptiSize. OptiSize is a leading-edge geophysical acquisition design and software company. OptiSize provides innovative seismic survey designs utilizing the latest field technology and optimizing for advanced processing and quantitative interpretation techniques. OptiSize's mission is to bring sustainable exploration solutions to energy development with their custom land footprint reduction technology, EcoSize. EcoSize enables operators to focus on reducing their environmental and greenhouse gas footprint while imaging all their subsurface targets and reducing costs. Visit optisize.com to learn more. Next up, we have PowerZone Equipment. When you need a specialized team of world-class engineers for your oil and gas pipelines, dewatering, or any fluid handling needs, you want to visit powerzone.com. In addition to their inventory of rebuilt pumps, motors, engines, they also have an amazing team to design and engineer your systems, no matter the challenge, no matter the location. Get in the zone with PowerZone. Visit them at powerzone.com. And last but not least, we have Integra. Integra helps pipeline owners and operators reduce risk and minimize costs, delivering the clearest picture of pipeline health using industry-leading ultra-high resolution inline inspection technologies, collecting multiple data sets on one tool run. Data resolution up to 4 times greater than other ILI tools, human-based data analysis, and experience providing the highest quality inspection results available. The Integra ILI system delivers for the pipeline industry partners whose success depends on safety and reliability. See more, know more. Visit integrasolutions.com. Alrighty, now let's get back to the interview.
Well, I like that I like that comment you made about triggering action, whether, like you said, whatever industry it's specific to. It's a matter of, cutting through the clutter and really removing that paralysis by analysis that can happen with so many sensors and so much data inflowing that you sometimes don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's really about the flying wheel from data from multiple systems, right? And then how can we use that data, feed into prediction models, and then trigger, you know, operational execution, right? Get things done. So, for example, like I'll work with the Department of Homeland Security, right? The next generation first responders.
Mm.
Their goal is really about reduce the response time for every 911 call to 60 seconds. And if they can achieve that, they can save more than 10,000 lives a year. And in
Wow.
order to do that, they really need to, linking from the data to actions. And that's what we do. So that's why we say it's a digital nervous system. Actually, I use this analogy a lot and people seem to like it. It's like, just imagine, right? Imagine your body. Your body is a big sensor network. You have skins, you have eyes, and ears, and touches, right? And you can act. Okay. Imagine you don't have your nervous system. So that means your sensors in your body do not talk to each other. Can you even walk properly?
Right.
You cannot. But today's industrial, like complex physical operations, right? And they have a whole bunch of sensors, but they don't have this nervous system to put them all together. That's who we are. And yeah, it's fun. It's very exciting.
It is fascinating. It almost seems like, the North Star, like you said, it's a pathway to, for all this information to converge and really help companies move forward efficiently in that manner. I know you mentioned, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. You also have some other incredible clients that you're working with in a variety of different industries, from the energy industry, Husky, to NASA even. Can you elaborate just on some of the types of companies that you're working with and the problems you're helping to solve?
Yeah, of course. So our customers, although they might look different, right? So like Husky Energy or TC Energy to Department of Homeland Security to NASA. Okay, they might look very different. Even we have a company, a real company as our customer. Okay, they look all different, but in a way they're all similar. They are complex physical operations. That means the operation spread out in a large geographical area. So that means location is very important. They want to know where things are, what conditions they are in, where the people are, and are they okay or not. Okay, so they share that. And typically they are quite mature in their IoT journey. That means they already have multiple sensor systems. And then they really want to improve that visibility and prediction. And typically a symptom is they have multiple sensor systems. And this sensor system means each one of them has a dashboard, right? And then these sensor systems being SCADA system, lone worker systems, fleet management system. And typically our customers, they have multiple fleet management systems. Okay, man, I just want to know where my cars are. They have multiple fleet management system. And then, so they have these symptoms. And then the operational execution, they might have multiple systems to trigger action like SAP or different, like one for their contractors. And typically they have multiple contractors. Oh, it's chaotic, yeah? So these are our customers. Let me give you an example. And this is something we are very excited recently, right? Because it's really, we feel very good about it. Right now, one of the focuses of our company, yeah, is to reduce the methane emissions in the energy industry. So imagine, so what sensor do they have, right? Okay, the sensor they have in order to discover methane, because methane is invisible. You cannot smell, okay? Just you cannot see them. So you need sensors to see them. So what sensor do you need to see them, to detect them? It ranges from all the way from satellites to drones, airplanes, to trucks drive by with the sensors. It's a mobile mapping system, and to continuous monitoring stations. And at the end, you need a person to go there with a very accurate, expensive thermal camera to pinpoint the leak source. So the satellite tell you approximately where are the leaks, right? You go all the way down to the ground stations They can tell you more accurate data, but eventually you need the operational execution. You need the person to go there and pinpoint. And more importantly, is to stop the leak. And today, the energy companies, they are using these multiple sensors, but these sensors do not work with each other. They are using Excel spreadsheet as their operational execution platform, right? To put the order, is like, okay, for this site, I need to send these people on this day, okay? And then they send it to SAP, and SAP trigger, their contractor's system. And they don't know when the contractor arrived at the site. They don't know when the leak are stopped, okay? They need to, for example, call them or receive another Excel spreadsheet, said, I performed these leaks, I prefer these leaks, right? But all these data, all the way from detection to the activities to the repair, are required for audit, because the regulatory body require them is like, okay, you said you have these emissions, right? And you stop them. Show me the proof.
Right.
Okay. So as a result, they do not have this digital nervous system. They are hurting the cats. And then so as a result, it's very expensive. Okay, because they are required to go there 3 times a year. And typical oil and gas company, if you look at a bigger company, they might put 1 million miles a year just to visit these sites. So don't know safety, don't know no visibility, difficult to put data together, expensive, and the driving means more emissions, which is defeat the purpose.
That's
right?
exactly what I was thinking when you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we configure our platform, become an end-to-end leak detection and repair, right? The action is repair, right? I emphasize the action, yeah? So
Solutions.
the leak yeah, exactly, the leak detection and repair. So they use our system. So they have the office engineer, right? A mission engineer. They use our the dashboard, right? We call it it's a control tower. They can literally see where people are, where the leaks are. They can see as soon as the leak got discovered, they can send notification. They can start to triage to see, what kind of leaks is this, and then in how many days, right? They shall repair the leak. So start to schedule, right? This is again required by regulatory body. Today, with our system, they can do it in real time, and it's send notification, check. Before SensorUp, it takes days, weeks. Yeah, Excel, remember Excel spreadsheet,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But any delay means more leaks, and these leaks cost money, and it's damaging the world. So yeah, it's one thing we did. But also the field worker, they have our smartphone app. We really streamline their operation. So when they arrive at the site, right, they use our app to do safety checking. Safety very important. Yeah. And then they do a scan, they do asset survey, and they do the leak detection and repair, and all data goes back in near real time. And also we collect data about where the leaks are and what the leaks associated to the asset, and we run the AI so we can detect, okay, well, this kind of model for this bulb or connectors, they are easy to re-leak. So next time you should fix them, or instead of fix them, you should replace them, right? So that's the other thing about predictions. Yeah. And then of course, with our system, the regulatory reporting is automatic, right? And automatic. So hopefully it's a good example, right? So from all the way from multiple sensors, to the stop the leaks and become the flying wheel and getting better and better. And that's a digital nervous system, or in a way we call it's a central operating system for these field operations, right? And now hopefully you can imagine, right? Not using this example, you can think about, it could be applied to almost any complex physical operations. Sensors to action. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and that's a great analogy. And it's you're almost to use your your analogy and to bring another one in, you're almost quarterbacking the data. And I've you hear the term digital transformation so much right now, but it's almost perhaps a buzzword. What does that mean to you, and how you're helping companies not just achieve net zero through the efficiencies and solutions that you've mentioned, but what does the digital transformation mean to you, and how is SensorUp helping really provide tangible, meaningful solutions to your companies that you work with?
Wow, digital transformation is a very, very big term. Yeah, it's very big.
It is.
So our flavor is, we have a methodology. Actually, I'm also a professor, so I'm very it's about methodology. Yeah. So we have a IoT and AI canvas. Okay, so basically a template, right? And then basically is for our kind of customer, right? Physical operations, right? And you can decompose your workflows. That means, for example, for leak detection repair, what's the workflow to do that? Okay, for oil and gas, right? For example, liquid hauling, right? What's your workflow? And you decompose a workflow. Okay, the workflows are typically composed with tasks. Okay, and we categorize the tasks in different categories. And you have the data collection task, typically either from sensors or from pen and paper. Okay, and human observations, or sometimes from ERPs. Okay, so you have these tasks. You have prediction tasks, and typically they are done by coordinator engineers in the office. And we just write down, okay, interview you, what are the prediction tasks you have, right? For example, my prediction task is I watch my SCADA system. I monitor the liquid level of 2,000 single well batteries. And I need to figure out when should I schedule a truck to haul the liquid out in, right? That's a prediction, right? You try to optimize that. So that's a task, okay? And then you have the action task, yeah? So you have the collection, you have prediction, you have the action, okay? And then hopefully they have learning task, but not all the case, because sometimes people are very busy, they don't even have time to learn, to improve the whole process, right? So we decompose them into different tasks, and then we look at the data collection task. Okay, so what are the tasks? They are not digital. Okay, for example, pen or paper, or multiple Excel sheets, or whatever different APIs. And there is a digital transformation, a low-hanging fruit here. It's how can we put them all together into one, right? And so, yeah, interconnect them. And then prediction task is, okay, for the human predictions, can we use some AI to replace that prediction? So remember, right now we break down into individual, right, tasks, right? And we can very pinpoint, it's like, okay, this task can be replaced or empowered, right? Okay, empower the operator with this kind of AI, because they are very small or fine granularity now, okay? Action, is there a way we can, using a connected worker solution, by increasing the communication, reduce the friction of communication, make it real time, right? And then to make it fast and can respond more promptly. For example, we are helping one of our customers to do, when they do their field operations, they do, when their workers go out, right? They receive tasks. And then they only know what's going on when they are back a day or two later. And using our connected worker solution, they can do it in dynamically or near real time. For example, there's a leak discovered. And then we found, oh, so a Chad is working nearby and he has the certification to fix that leak, which is 1 kilometer away. And then we can task Chad, why don't you stop by and fix it, right? So we can do this in dynamically. So again, looking into these different tasks composed with the workflow and identify which one you can using some digital or AI or IoT, and to make things more connected, more real time, more predictive, and operational execution. How can we trigger actions quickly? That's our view about digital transformation.
Okay, and more efficient, of course, as well. And as you mentioned, the analogy of having, say a worker, a Chad that's nearby and can go fix this. I also think about, what about the safety component here? I think there's, potentially some massive implications to improving company safety programs because you have data that's real time. Is that fair to say?
Of course, actually, technology, the root of technology is from safety, yeah, and then operational execution. But like firefighters, right? So for example, the next generation first responders, right? So the 3 taglines are fully protected, fully connected, and fully aware. So by knowing where your people are, like where your first responders are, what conditions they are in, then you can really help them, protect them. Yeah. And for example, we help them to build a long-term health profile for the first responders. So, for example, actually the union are very interested in this, right? We at the beginning, we thought union would hate us, but actually they love it, because they said, we just don't know 2 things that I really care about. One is the total heat exposure of the first responders. And the second thing is the total, the plume exposure to the sales first responders. However, they were busy. So how do they know? I mean, how many seconds they're exposed to extreme heat? How many
Right.
seconds they were in the plumes, right? Our IoT helped them. So they love it, actually. It's interesting. For us, it's very interesting learning, right? So by knowing what condition they are in and then where they are, we can really protect them. So they can go home, spend time with their family.
Well, and it's that knowledge is power, right? And you don't know what you don't know until unfortunately something happens, and there's learnings that can come from it. So if you can use your data, that can really prevent a lot of incidents.
Exactly. And then, but also we understand the importance of privacy and security. So again, when we design a system, right, it is a good thing about at the very beginning of the company, we work with like large organizations, right? So
Mhm.
my first customer actually is Lucky Martin. It's kind of
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, a startup
very.
company. The first customer is Lucky Martin. Yeah? So we
Wow.
learned a lot of security and privacy stuff, right, at the very, very beginning. So for example, we design our system, right? And then one layman's term is like for your eyes only, yeah. Or
Right.
so, for example, we can design the data pipeline to be very, with very fine granularity. So the whole data pipeline doesn't share with anybody, just for a certain group of people. So one
Right.
example, the requirement is this: .mil, so military network, and .gov. There are two different networks. So .gov shall not see .mil data, right? Like firefighters shouldn't see the coastal guard data, but
Right.
coastal guard able to see firefighter data. So our platform is designed that way, which is very high granularity for the security part. But second part is privacy. We're building some privacy module because privacy can be tackled with two ways, right? One is policy,
Mhm.
right? Establish a policy, how the data should be protected, stored, and shared, right? That's one part. But also, how do you know the policy are enforced, right? They are computational method. So basically is depends on our privacy requirements, okay? And we can make a data pipeline to make sure the privacy is protected. So the end data, the data being stored, they already preserve the privacy. So they are computational method. Actually, I did a webinar on this. Actually, if you're interested in algorithms, I can just go to my webinar. But they are algorithms to do that. So we really, although we are digital nervous system, to get the more data, the better. The more detail, the better. But we're also very focused on privacy and security.
Which is a huge component right now as information flows. Privacy is always a major concern for companies. When I was doing research for this interview, it speaks to the larger conversation that we're having. But I just loved it. It was one of your I think one of your customers stated that instead of relying on good luck, oil and gas companies in particular on this one should rely on good data. So ultimately, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. But again, it's about data, right? And we focus on typically real-time data, okay? Because we are focusing on operations, right? Operational execution, and it needs to be real-time, so you can, really prevent things, right? Prevent the leak, prevent incidents, prevent weight or waste, right? Or prevent the service to be, have to be stopped because something happened, right? For example, if
Mhm.
a battery, right, you have a tank, and the water is full, you have to stop the operation because it's full, or it's a spill, right? So for us, it's really about the data is about the real time, right? The real time data from multiple sources, and then so that you can do something about it, trigger the actions. That's our flavor about it, this whole data, right? And for oil and gas, for rail,
Mhm.
firefighters, yeah, they're all the same. Every second counts.
And I'm thinking about this to bring it back to our previous point about the methane emissions and the ability to reduce those and really, you know, provide positive impact, really from an ESG aspect. If energy companies that aren't working with you currently right now, how can they get involved with your platform and how can they interact with SensorUp to improve their methane emissions monitoring?
So we talk to many producers, yeah, just to let you know, many producers. And so we know the space quite well. I'm also a professor, so I've done this methane reduction research for 3 or 4 years now. I know the
Mhm.
space quite well. So I know the current operation is really manual and slow. Okay. And then, for example, we have a customer before SensorUp, there are 4 different apps. I mean, mobile apps, and
Right.
they are a very progressive one. You know, they have apps rather than pen and paper. Yeah. So there are 4 different apps, and then it's the thing is it's not streamlined, and our platform is a SaaS platform. Okay, and we work with multiple progressive leading producers. So
Mhm.
actually, the experience is this, right? If you the producer they do not have a leak detection and a repair program, they can take our SaaS and follow the you know the procedure here. We have workflows in the platform as well, right? They load their sites that take 10 minutes, right? So basically you need to know where to fix, right? Or where to inspect. You load them into the system and then ask their the technicians to the crews to download the app, and off you go. You can just follow the apps, and the office engineer can start to fine tune the schedule. Okay, and then just like and the next day, you know where people are, you know the leaks discovered in real time, right? Just pop up in near real time, and then you know when it's a fix or not, right? If you don't, if the repair is there's regulatory requirements, right? So for this kind of leak, 7 days. For this kind of leak, 30 days, right? So if it's about reach to that limit, right, you might get fined, right? And it will give you some warnings, right? All these are built in, configured already, and then you can fine tune for your own company. So that's our it's how it starts and how to start using us. It's a turnkey SaaS solution.
And Steve, what about, as you mentioned at the top of the interview, when you're talking about the Internet of Things and how there's data all around us and data sources all around us, what about data that hasn't, I guess, that doesn't exist yet? How would that come into your system or into your platform?
Great point. Okay, so the premise of a digital nervous system, right? It's about how to connect multiple different nodes together, right?
Mhm.
That including the sensors you already have, or the data you had, and it's not collected by sensors, but you can extract observation from them. So there's the
Right.
past, now, and future. And our approach is really we are really good at this. For example, we won a award a couple of years ago. It's from NATO. Yeah, NATO. Yeah,
Yeah.
recently become quite hot. A NATO award for secured federation of IoT devices. And our approach is really we offer several international standards to aggregate all kind of different kind of sensors all together using a international standard perspective or approach. So it's called interoperability, right? We enable interoperability by using an open standard way. And you see some of the companies, they different philosophy, right? So some of the companies, they use their own proprietary way because their business model is to lock you in,
Mm.
right? I connect and I lock you in, there's
Right.
no way
Right.
out. Yeah,
Proprietary and where you go. Yeah.
exactly. But we have different philosophy. And our philosophy is I want our customer to enjoy the security, the privacy, and the future proof. That means extensibility, right?
Mhm.
By using our system. So our approach is really open, and it's proven we can connect all kinds of different sensors. Yeah, I mean we did that for military and and the Department of Homeland Security. So kind of proven. So
Right.
yeah, we're very good at this.
Well, and that's an excellent point in terms of of proving this to your existing clients and the listeners here. Is do you have a particular case study or an example that you're really proud of from SensorUp?
Yes, actually, the case study I'm most proud of. Actually, can I say two?
Of course you can. Of course.
So we really want to do something change the world, okay, in a
Mhm.
positive way.
Mhm.
So one example we are very proud. I mean, my team, over beer, we like, okay, what you impress you, right? In the past 4 years at the company, right? Is that
Right.
the work with the first responders. So we did a drill with them, right, with the firefighters and EMS and the police, and then um, by looking at them using our system, okay, and then run into a fire. It's a controlled fire tower, okay, but just the first-hand experience looking at them, they are risking their life. Although it's a training, but you get a real feeling, right? They're risking their lives,
Mhm.
and they are excited about our system, and we even simulation a firefighter down situation, right? And then our system able to detect a man down with the fault detection in a control fire tower, and they send a troop, send the second group of firefighters went in and took the person out. I don't know, it feels very good because we are literally, we saw it happening, right? Life saving happening. So we love that, right? To protect the lives, protect the heroes. That's number one. We love that. Number two is really about this methane leak detection repair. Our customer, for example, we have a customer, very progressive, very good customer, is a TC Energy, is a pipeline company. And they have this ambition to be net zero, right, emission. And so when we launch our system, and then with them, they start to using our system, right, end to end, to run their leak detection repair program. And when we start to see the leaks coming up, pop up on the screen, and see them being fixed, it feels very good because we know methane is really damaging our world right now. And the important thing is it can be prevented, it can be fixed. So, to see, we are digital companies, so typically we don't do anything, right? But they use our tools and to really operational execution, right? To change the world. It feels good. Either save lives or save the planet.
And that's such a good point, Steve, because for all, for all of us who work in or are associated with the energy industry, that's a massive aspect to what we do, is that we want to provide these necessary resources safely, efficiently, and of course environmentally responsibly. So to hear that and hear that you're working with TC Energy is towards these goals of achieving net zero is so critical, because it just really shows, I think, the larger public how innovative companies such as yourself are, and how those innovations can be adopted by large producers and large companies such as TC Energy.
Yeah, exactly. And so actually the objectives is really about how can we provide the greenest energy with the minimum cost. So that's digital transformation, right?
Right.
Because it gives you safety and productivity using a digital way, right? And it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah, you're basically helping to close the loop.
Exactly. From the data to operational execution, close the loop and make it better and better each time, right? We can predict which asset is more easier to fail next time. So let's replace them, right? Or easy to leak. And then give you that ability to predict so it can make your operation better. It's a loop, it's a flying wheel.
And now, in terms of SensorUp, to bring it back more to your company and where you guys are moving towards, I understand you have a sustainability series. Can you explain what that is and what it's designed to do?
Yeah, again, right? We love this kind of positive impact, right? So we have this sustainability series, and right now it's really focusing on the methane reduction, right? So we talk about the international standard. We authored, right? So we want to, again, our philosophy is open, is want to work with everybody, right? And positive impact. So we share the knowledge with about the standard, about the use cases, and about the case studies, right? So how it's being used, those type of things. So yeah, knowledge sharing.
Knowledge sharing, and if a company wants in on some of that knowledge or wants to work with SensorUp, how do they do so?
Contact us. Go to our website and then email us, and then we'll be very happy to talk to you. And then hopefully you'll find actually we are quite sincere. We are not like like self promote in a way. So yeah, let's have a casual chat as well, right? So like I really enjoy the chat with you, chat, right? So it's casual, so that's easy to start. Just email us.
Well, and I agree, Steve. This has been a wonderful chat. I've learned a lot. You've really got me thinking, and I'm sure you've got a lot of our listeners thinking, and really introduced them to the, if they hadn't heard of the Internet of Things or how it's all interconnected. It's incredibly fascinating. And I think about it, as you hear more and more about, the metaverse and where things are moving forward, it's all this interconnectability. But before we leave, before we end the interview, is there anything, Steve, that you'd like to touch on or elaborate on that that we felt we maybe haven't uncovered through this interview so far?
Yeah, maybe there's one thing I want to leave to the audience or is just digital transformation, right? Just think about in your operation, if you are in a complex physical operation like energy companies, right? And think about the the flow I just mentioned, right? So look at your workflows and decompose them into individual tasks, into different categories. Data collection tasks, how many disparate data sources you have? What can you do to improve the operation by interconnect them? What are the prediction tasks you have? And what are the things you really don't want your people to do? Like a typical one is actually somebody just watching, looking at the monitor screen and try to wait for things to happen. That's something you don't want to do, okay? And then what's the operation execution? You think about, yeah, what if I can change it during the day rather than after every day or after a month, because I do my schedule every month. What if I can have that almost real time? I think that would be a good exercise to do, actually. That's how you transform your operation. And then it's really how you compete. Because if you don't do that, your competitor will have cheaper and greener energy than you, right? And you want to be the leader. You want to enjoy the premium, right? So my last
I
thought.
love it, Steve. Enjoy the premium. That's a great way to end off the interview. I on behalf of myself and I'm sure all our listeners in Crowns and Energy, this has been a fascinating conversation. You've been incredibly engaging. So I really appreciate you taking the time to join us here on Crowns and Energy.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the chat as well.
Well, hopefully, we can have you back in the near future, because as you said, there's so much changing, there's so much going on. So we'd love to have you back on a future episode. But until then, we appreciate everyone taking the time to listen to this interview today. If you want to get involved with Crowns and Energy, you can follow us on all our social pages. You can connect with us as well, suggest different topics, different guests, really provide us feedback, what you like to hear, such as today's episode. And that really helps us moving forward. So on behalf of all of us, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Crowns and Energy. And we will see you on the next episode of Crowns and Energy.